Hey guys, Sneaky Snake here, Brothers in Arms, World of Warships, and today's video we're going to take a look at a game that I had in the Z-46, the Tier 9 German destroyer. I'm divisioned up with my buddy Tugboat, playing in the Iowa, the Tier 9 American battleship, and my buddy Puddin, playing in the Saint Louis, the Tier 9 French heavy cruiser, and we're playing some domination here on the map Haven. For my captain skills, I run Preventative Maintenance, Last Stand, Survivability Expert, Torpedo Reload Armament, Superintendent, and Concealment. And for my equipment, I run Main Armaments Mod 1, Aiming Systems Mod 2, Torpedo Tubes Mod 3, Hydroacoustic Modification, Propulsion Mod 2, and Concealment Systems Modification 1. So the Z-46, this was just featured yesterday in our Tactics and Strategy video. I know, guys, we usually don't have the same ship on back-to-back days, so we certainly try not to, but I just could not leave this game out, and this was by far the best destroyer game that I had over the weekend. An absolutely monster game that I'm about to show you in this very good Tier 9 German destroyer. And basically what's going to happen, I'm going to move into Bravo here on Haven, and with my team in support, I'm going to show you just why this thing is one of the best cap contesters in the game. I know the Fletcher, I know the gearing. They certainly have made a name for themselves with their very big smoke screens and rapid rates of fire on their guns, as well as wonderful maneuverability. They can get onto the caps and pretty much outgun any destroyer that they come across. However, I really do think that the Z-46 has its own place, and the Z-52, which you are able to get afterwards. I have done a review on the ship. I'll also include that in the description below if you haven't checked it out. But what you're going to see here with the hydroacoustic is just an almost unparalleled ability, really, to be able to influence the game and successfully get on the caps. And again, that's what this thing is absolutely for, and I really hope you guys enjoy this game because this is one of the best destroyer games that I've had in quite some time, and you all know me. I am a very good World of Warships player, and you guys expect nothing less than amazing gameplay. So here at the beginning, I'm getting my torpedoes downrange. You can see 1 minute and 7 seconds on the reload. It's absolutely glorious with the torpedoes. They don't have very much alpha damage, so to speak, but what you do have is 8 of them. And they reload so darn quickly. It just allows you to continue to flood an area with torpedoes, and it kind of catches an enemy off guard, to be honest with you. Considering that the Z-23, if you don't run any torpedo captain skills or equipment on it, which is the Tier 8 German destroyer, it's a 90-second reload. So it's a huge buff to be able to get to 68 seconds with this thing. There's 24 seconds left on the cap. I see an Admiral Hipper that's down there, 10.3 kilometers away. However, I am not going to shoot because I certainly don't want to give away my position. But I'm also trying to put this island in between myself and those 2 gaps that are down there. You can see a Kutuzov is down there as well. Got 10 seconds left on the cap here. And this is exactly where I need to be for my team. And you can see that there is a destroyer that is shooting. The Grozovoy appears at 7.2 kilometers away. And also putting myself in this position allows me to protect myself with hard cover from enemy torpedoes. You can see that those are all well off to my port side. I do get detected for a split second, so with 1 second left on the cap, I know that there is something on there, but I keep going in and out of detection, and I'm not 100% sure what it is, so I'm going to launch my 8 fish, excuse me, down back into the smoke screen, and this is why it's so good. I also pop my hydroacoustic, which has a 2-minute, basically, duration as I get the solo cap, and now I'm going to start shooting here at the Kurfürst. So this thing lets me get into position and dictate the pace of the combat, quite honestly. The Benson that's over there and the Grozovoy, even if they both wanted to try and chase me and hunt me down inside my smoke, I hold such a massive advantage with the hydroacoustic that it's honestly something that should never be underestimated. And if a German destroyer on a cap smokes up, beware, especially the high tier ones. They're probably going to use their hydro, and they're probably going to be able to take care of you without too much of an issue. I'm also getting some shots now as I do take a couple hits there. Somebody blind firing into the smoke. Good play on them. Shooting the armor piercing now at the Admiral Hipper. 3,000 damage on a Citadel. And nonetheless, if you're still able to land a very solid salvo like that right into the superstructure, you can get some very good penetration damage right there. And you can see 3,300, 1,700, 1,485 on that salvo. That guy took about 7,000 hit points worth, shaved off really quickly. And once more, my torpedo tubes are reloaded. It's 15:55 left in the game, and I'm getting ready to launch my 3rd set of torpedoes down towards the enemy smoke screen. This is something that, For those of you that play mid-tier Japanese destroyers like the Kamikaze, this is what you're used to on a torpedo reload. Certainly not something that is here all the way up at tier 9. My buddy Puddin manages to take care of the Admiral Hipper and gets the first kill for our team of the game, so good stuff right there from my buddy. And now I am continuing to pump the high explosive spam into the Kurfürst superstructure. However, my smoke screen does go away. Obviously, as we all know, the big weakness of the German destroyers is their lack of a smoke screen duration, so to speak. But my next set of torpedoes is heading down into that smoke screen. Obviously, there's the Benson and the Grozavoy, and there's also enemy ships that are maneuvering in behind it, and there we go. The 2 torpedoes slam home into that tier 10 Soviet destroyer, picking up my first kill of the game, and it looks like that Izumo is in the path of those other torpedoes that made it through as well, so that's obviously some very nice stuff for our team. Unfortunately, the Kutuzov was very over-ambitious and is going to die here any second now. However, one of my torpedoes slams home into the Izumo, getting a flooding and forcing him to use his damage control. And if you haven't noticed, I'm already up to 77,000 points of damage dealt so far. This thing can rack up the damage very, very quickly. And one other thing to note, after this game took place, I did put basic firing training with my last 3 captain skills. I had to get that last 19th point, which I did. So the reload in this replay is 4 seconds on the guns. If you get BFT, it goes down to about 3.6. So obviously that's going to increase your theoretical DPM by a pretty decent margin as well. For my 4th torpedo salvo, I am now launching some downrange at the enemy Iowa. Unfortunately, it's like he has his spider senses tingling and he immediately turns to his starboard side. I now use my second smoke screen of the game and I'm getting some high explosive spam into his superstructure. However, be mindful of where those torpedoes end up. It's certainly not going to be the Iowa that's going to eat them, but we'll see if anybody else strays into them. And again, this is why I love the Z-46 so much. And one other thing that you probably have noticed by this point, you see that a lot of the time in this replay I've spent with my aft end pointing towards the enemy. You have 2 of your 3 turrets located on the ship at the very aft section of it, and it allows you to be able to escape better in case you get into a situation where possibly you get radared or something, where you can immediately get out of dodge with your bow pointing away from the enemy, get that speed boost going, and get the heck out of dodge. So it's something that's very nice to have. I'm now getting some armor-piercing shells right into the side of this Iowa. 2 torpedoes slam home, not into the Izumo over there, something else. Look at the damage, though, on the side of this Iowa. Oh my gosh, 5,800 damage. And you can see here more shells are just going right into that superstructure. And this is where the power of the German AP. It's just like a Hindenburg. The angles for penetration are very bad, but if you are able to get those pens, it just does so much damage. And this is a destroyer that is shooting into the side of a battleship, and you can see here that the penetration is just absolutely ridiculous. I managed to hit 2 torpedoes, however, on that enemy North Carolina, as Putin's fire manages to take care of the enemy Iowa, and my 5th torpedo salvo of the game goes downrange at the enemy North Carolina, who appears to be backing up. I'm up to a very, very healthy 127,000 points of damage. If the game ended right now and I were to die, I would be completely happy with that amount dealt so far. I decided to hold my fire on the Yagumo, who was 5.8 kilometers away, and now as he goes undetected, as I go off the cap, I shoot my rear turrets at him and manage to get 2 nice base defense resets right there. So then I swing my rear turrets into play to try to take care of the Benson. He is making a charge toward my friends over there, and there we go. I managed to hit him right on the stern section of the ship, securing my 2nd kill of the game. And once more, I go undetected. However, I do get detected again as my bloom is still available, and it's probably the Yagumo that is spotting me at this point, but I'm not going to panic. I know that I could potentially be getting shot at right now. There's the Kurfürst, there's the North Carolina, of course, which probably have shells, but I'm very patient, and that's something else about your German destroyers. You need to be very careful when you open fire, but in the same token, realize that when you are detected, it's just a patience thing. You need to play the waiting game, wait until you get undetected again. I almost have the same detectability range as a Yagumo. Mine is 5.9, and his is about, I think, 5.4, 5.5, so it's only a couple hundred meters difference, so there was really no reason for me to open fire on him. He is going to be able to get a successful capture of the base, but I've been down here for almost 9 minutes, and the enemy team has just moved onto it, and you can see that the score is 774 to 352. I have certainly done my job down here, keeping this cap in our possession for as long as possible, and then in the same vein, I'm going to make my way back onto the B cap right here. I know that the Kurfürst is moving in, but also I know that his hydroacoustic range is about 6 kilometers. So I still have over 3 kilometers worth of a buffer zone that I'm going to be able to work with right here. And again, since there's no radar cruisers here in the game, I don't have to worry about getting detected by anything. Once more, my hydroacoustic is down while my smoke screen is up. This is definitely the most dangerous time, and of course this Kerfuffle is going to continue to push in. It does look like one torpedo is going to be able to slam home into him. Hopefully it's going to be a flooding here on the side of his ship. Unfortunately, no, so I'm going to continue the high explosive spam into the superstructure. I tried to get back on Bravo for a split second, and I was able to cap it for a few ticks. However, I decided that the juice is not worth the squeezes. The Kerfuffle is continuing to do what I was afraid of, and he's continuing to push in. So at this point, as my buddy Puddin manages to get another kill on the enemy Zumo this time, I'm going to launch my torpedoes downrange at the Kerfuffle. He's 7.2 kilometers away at this point. And I can see that he has used his damage control, and now I'm actually in a position where I'm okay with shooting, even though I'm out in the open. I still have 21,000 hit points, and the majority of his secondaries are not going to be able to get to me. You can see the forward ones are, but it's nearly not enough to be able to do any substantial damage to me, and hell, I haven't even been hit yet by his secondaries, as I do set a fire, and there we go. I now get the flooding. So not only do I have a fire on that guy, but now his bow is flooding, and he is going to quickly lose his hit points, and you can see here how calm I am. I'm not freaking out. I'm not trying to do all those crazy maneuvers. I'm still getting some shots downrange, and now I position myself behind the island as I pick up high caliber to be able to shoot at him, staying completely undetected. Stealth firing, per se, and I'm up to 197,000 points of damage if you've lost track of the damage counter. This guy is just absolutely losing his hit points, and now as I pick up the Witherer, I shoot some armor piercing into his side, 795, and before my next shells land, I take out that tier 10 German battleship, and I pick up my third kill of the game. I'm up to a mind-boggling 212,000 points of damage dealt so far in this game, and yeah, right there, that entire sequence that lasted about 11 minutes, getting onto B, getting the cap, keeping enemy destroyers away, keeping the torp spam up into the smoke screen, and shooting anything that gets near to me, while managing my hydroacoustic and my smokes to a degree where I still have 20,000 hit points left over at this portion of the game. And you can see why I alluded to it at the beginning of the video. This is one of my almost flawless and perfect games that I've had in a destroyer in quite some time. And I've been playing this Z-46 very well over the last couple of weeks. This is probably my favorite destroyer in the game currently. And you just see how calm, cool, and collected that I was. And that's the big thing to take away from the meaty portion of this replay. It was something that, I mean, that was great. Watching it back and doing the commentary on it, when you know that you made a good play and you're able to articulate it to you guys, the viewers, about what I was able to do, is something that, seriously, that's why I love doing this YouTube stuff, because you guys enjoy it, I enjoy it, and I'm really appreciative of it. So anyway, with that mumbo jumbo taken care of, it's 890, make that 900 to 475. The enemy team does have Bravo and Delta. However, I am now going to be able to get back here onto Objective Bravo, but they are capturing Objective Charlie, so we're still not out of the woods yet. Don't know how many hit points. There is a Kutuzov, an Otago, a Yagumo, and a Tirpitz that are left over at this point, and it appears the Tirpitz might be on Objective Charlie. We do have the Freddy over there, and a decent amount of hit points. But got 42 seconds left here on the cap, so everything is still going A-okay at the moment. And I will be able to get the solo base cap here sometime soon. You can see that the Tirpitz appears 9.3 kilometers away, and, well, I did farm a little bit more damage, so I'm going to open fire while I am out in the open, which is, it's okay. I'm in no position, really, to get absolutely deleted, as the Tirpitz did shoot at the Friedrich de Grossa. However, the enemy Yagumo did manage to take my friend out. So at this point, as Putin gets his fourth kill of the game on that Kutuzov, we're still feeling pretty good here. So yeah, I'm not really too worried about it. 10 seconds left on the cap, and 6:44 left in the game. And I want to try to eke out a little bit more damage here before the game is over with. Again, we're pretty much at the point of no return where we are guaranteed to win this game. And I just want to see how much more we can do. Unfortunately, I get the assisted base capture. You can see the gearing and the Amagi did move into the cap, but nonetheless, you can see the team play going on here. And I'm looking for a torpedo attack here on the enemy Tirpitz. He's 4.2 kilometers away, and the torpedo tubes have long since been reloaded. However, at this point, the worst thing that could possibly happen does. The Yagumo appears at 4.2 kilometers away as well, so I'm still going to try to maneuver my way into position against the enemy Tirpitz. However, I do have the AP loaded, and I shoot my first broadside here at the enemy Yagumo, trying to get those penetrating hits. There we go. About 2,000 damage dealt to him on that salvo. You have to be a little bit careful with the German AP on destroyers, because if you don't hit it in the right spot, it will bounce quite a bit. But you can see that if you do manage to penetrate, you will get some good damage dealt. Confederate is now picked up for me for my 4th medal of the game, and it's at this point that I realize that I do need to use my smoke, and I'm continuing to shoot now here at the enemy turrets. However, I was the only person that was spotting those ships for some time. However, the Bismarck is now able to take over that job, and I do have the hydroacoustic up as well for the inevitable Yagumo torpedoes, which will probably be coming into my smoke screen sometime soon here. Now continuing to shoot here at the turrets, and there we go. The hydroacoustic picks them up long before they're going to hit me, so all I got to do is put myself in between the torpedoes, trying to get a fire set. There we go. I cracked 220,000 points of damage. However, this game is rapidly coming to a close. It's 983 to 601, so we're about to win here on the point total as those torpedoes go right to the outside of my ship, trying to get another fire set to do a little bit more damage here before the game ends. It's 999 to 613, and with that, as I set one more fire on the turrets and do about 700 damage, the game ends up here on the map Haven. Alrighty guys, taking a look now at the post-battle results. 528,000 credits earned and just over 10,000 total EXP. I picked up a devastating strike, a Confederate Witherer and high caliber for 227,000 points of damage dealt. Off of 337 shell hits and 7 torpedoes, I sank 3 enemy ships, set 7 fires, 5 floods, 2 base defense ribbons, 1 solo base cap, and 1 assisted base capture. Taking a look at the team score, 2,815 base EXP, with my buddy Puddin coming in second place with 1447 and 4 kills of his own. A very solid performance by him. Taking a look at the detailed report, 40k done with the HE, 43k done with the AP, 76,000 done with the torpedoes, and then a very nice total of fires and flooding for 66,000. So a very good performance right there. And I actually managed to get 100 of the 181 capture points for our team. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this replay of the Z-46, one of my best that I was able to manage. And one last thing, look at the damage on that currywurst. 115,000 of my damage was dealt on that guy. Absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, please consider giving the video a like, commenting on it, or possibly subscribing to the channel. All of it is very much appreciated. And with that being said, Brothers in Arms World of Warships signing off. Guys and gals, as always, have a great day.